Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded, episode 10 of season 2. I'm your host, Eric. Main man right there, Ron. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Lots of stuff going on
Holy
today.
Toledo. I mean, when you talk
Woo!
about having to unfold some sports this week, we have got so much to cover. We're going to start right off with this leadoff story, and that would be one quarterback, Russell Wilson, who has been traded to the Denver Broncos. So, what kind of success do you think he's going to have this season?
It could go either way, to be honest with you, Eric. The biggest concern I have is that division now
Is
has just
brutal.
gotten probably the best division in football right now.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, it is. And you're looking at, again, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, and Patrick Mahomes. I would say right now, if I was grading it, I'm probably putting Russell Wilson 3 or 4. I could flip flop him with Derek Carr on that
Yeah.
list. To me, that's a very difficult division to get involved in. And I'm
Yeah.
surprised that that's his choice. Like, you're going from the NFC West, which was brutal,
Brutal.
to a probably even tougher division now.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the Chargers, you know, doing what they did, and we'll talk about that in a little while. But
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, this is not a cakewalk. Like,
No.
bad enough you have Patrick Mahomes in the division, but that division has 4 good teams, solid teams, and it could get very tricky to make the playoffs. And it's putting the rest of the AFC on notice. That's for sure.
Yeah, the AFC is, I think, much tougher than the NFC. But then I looked at it from one side. Look, he was 6-8 last season, threw for over 3,100 yards, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Remember, he had that finger injury, so he
Right.
missed some games. Both teams were 7-10 last season, but Denver's defense only gave up 322 points versus 366 for Seattle.
Right. He's going to a much better defensive team. And they're
Seattle
ready.
Seattle also scored 395 versus Denver's 335, so 60 more points. So with Russell Wilson, with that defense, you could honestly say that the Denver Broncos, with this improvement, could win that division. Listen, the Kansas City Chiefs have not looked like the Chiefs in the last 2 years.
No. And that's why I say it could go either way. Like, look, the stats are, Denver lost, I believe, 6 games by 1 score or less. So when you look at those numbers, what position do you need to improve on? And they said quarterback. With a quarterback, we could win 11 games. And is that possible? Absolutely. Like, you're looking at a team with 7 wins. They were in contention all year.
Mm-hmm.
And just fell short because of not having that quarterback.
Yeah.
And this gives them a quarterback, to actually win those games that you should win. And then, then it's a toss up when you play in your own division. So they're looking at it, okay, we got to win the 6 games outside of our division, first of all. And then if we can at least win 4 inside the division, we could make the playoffs.
Yeah. So I looked at it this way as well. He's going from a team. Rashad Penny was a top rusher in Seattle, 749 yards. He's got 2 900-yard plus rushers now with Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. The pressure's not all on Russell Wilson to win. So that's a benefit. The receiving part of it, though, I would be a little concerned when Sutton's a very good wide receiver, and Jerry Jeudy had the injury, so he was out for a lot of the year. But DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett were 2 guys that he just had a connection with.
Yeah.
And whatever Seattle's deciding to do, I think they're going to move on from Metcalf as well. So, they already got rid of Wagner, their top linebacker. So there's not much left in Seattle. Great move for Russell to get out of there when he did.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's going to have that same success passing the ball with these other receivers that he had with those 2.
Yeah, you knew Seattle was going to do something because, I mean, the writing was on the wall. They're up against it with the cap, and they had to start unloading and building up in the draft again. And that's what they've had to do. And unfortunately for Seattle, they're not as good with the cap control as, say, like the Patriots are,
Yeah.
who always seems to be able to do something and put things back together, and thrive.
So I'm glad you brought up the quarterback situation, though, because we're going to obviously the conversation has just come out about Deshaun Watson and his
Yes.
situation, that there will be no criminal charges. We don't know if the NFL is going to suspend him. Obviously, there's still a civil case, but that's just financial. He will not face criminal charges. The Seattle Seahawks have been rumored to be a team that would be interested in Deshaun Watson. I'm not necessarily sold that they're on a rebuild, because if you look at Pete Carroll, 71 years old, is he really going to want to start over? He's probably got 2-3 years if he's lucky. They're not going to rebuild with that coach. They would have got rid of Pete Carroll this year and then just moved on and started fresh. I still think that they feel they could be a contender. Maybe Deshaun Watson goes to Seattle.
I mean, it's possible. And there's also another wild card, and that's Colin Kaepernick, who has put it out there
Yeah,
that he is training and he's working hard to come back. And there's going to be a team out there that is going to bite at it, and it could be a team like Carolina takes out a flyer on him, gives him a shot,
if he's
and
willing to
he
become a
might be able
backup,
to do it.
yeah. If he's willing to become a backup, I could see it. His biggest thing was he wanted to be a starter with whatever team he went to. And unfortunately, being out of the league for 6 years, I'm not saying his skills aren't noteworthy of being a starting quarterback in the NFL, but I don't feel like you're going to pick up where you left off 6 years ago.
Oh, I don't think so either. But if you go to a team that has a questionable
Yeah,
quarterback,
and he gets an
you will get
opportunity.
some
Yeah,
you will get a chance. And
absolutely.
that's what he's gonna do. It's sad to say, but that's what it is. So if you go to like Carolina, who's a complete mess right now, you're gonna get a chance. You're going to get a chance.
And we're going
You
to
just
do an NFL show this Monday, because there's so much to cover. Carolina is one of those teams too. Now they're talking about shipping McCaffrey,
yeah.
and to me, it's like they're really going to blow that thing up in Carolina.
Yeah, you kind of have to, because it would kind of be dumb to have a player of McCaffrey's type, on a team that's really going nowhere, and you can get a haul for him. Like, you're going to get a couple of firsts and a couple of seconds.
Scary part. Buffalo rumored
Oh
is the team
God,
interested. Don't need that. So
no.
again, another big trade that happened. Let's talk some NFL here. Khalil Mack has been traded to the Los Angeles Chargers. So we talk about this AFC West division and what we've got going on with Russell Wilson. Now you add a Khalil Mack, one of the top pass rushers in the game, to go alongside with Joey Bosa.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's
One of the
crazy.
things we said, that the problem with the Chargers was defense, not their offense, their defense. They're
Yeah.
currently 25 million under the cap. I'm going to give you a name right now as well. J.C. Jackson is going to the Chargers, and they're going to be formidable on defense as well. It's going to be scary.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate. That would be unfortunate, but that actually is logical.
He's going to get paid. We already
Yeah.
know New England's not going to pay him. It makes a ton of sense for the Chargers
Yeah.
to try to pick him up. You've got those pass rushers up front. Listen, Mac, 8-year career, 76 and a half sacks. Joey Bosa in 6 years, 58 sacks, 10 and a half last season. And don't forget, Mac was injured last year, so he sat out, a bunch of games. I think he only played in 7 games. So if you look at the fact that he's well rested,
Yeah.
he's only been in the league 8 years. This will be his 9th year. This is such a good pickup for the Chargers.
Yeah, well, it again, I'm going to use that phrase. It makes sense because you have Herbert on a rookie contract right now,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they know he's capable of winning games.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Look, at the end of that Las Vegas game, he was, lights out. You
Yeah.
couldn't stop him. It's,
Yeah.
again, your favorite overtime rule, but
Yeah.
But realistically, look, this is a team that we've expected to be much better. And the one side of the ball that they were struggling on, to me, they made that improvement. You pick up a J.C. Jackson, who's probably considered the top cornerback coming out of free agency.
Yeah.
You solidified your defense enough to honestly compete. Question to your point, though, is in the AFC West, is it enough?
Well, I actually right now, if I was picking teams right now, I would pick San Diego,
Hey,
LA Chargers, LA Chargers to win that division. To be honest with you,
and honestly, when we first did this show, they were the San Diego Chargers. So I give you credit for that. Way back in the day, Ron.
yeah, 20 plus years ago.
20 plus years ago. Let's talk about another gentleman we're going to bring up on the screen. And how many times can you get traded in consecutive years? Carson Wentz looks like he's trying to break a record. Every year he'll just get traded to a new team. He's going to the Washington Commanders.
Which I hate the name.
Yes, I think it's going to take a long time to get used. So hopefully they change it.
No, I'm never going to get used to it.
Can this help the Commanders, though, win the NFC East?
No.
9-8 last season. He threw for 3,500 yards, 27
care.
touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
He also couldn't beat Jacksonville. So, what does that do? With one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my life.
So, solid running game with Gibson. So he's not losing much from what he had in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
You look at the health of Chase Young on the defensive side of the ball, who missed almost all of last season.
Yep.
To me, look, Dallas is falling apart quick.
So this is what's going to happen. Okay.
It'll
come down to the last game of the season, and they'll be playing what?
Okay.
Giants.
Okay.
And he'll throw a crappy interception to lose the game, and they're out of the playoffs.
All right, but let me ask you this question. Are they in contention for that? Not that they'll win it. Does this move make them contenders for the NFC East?
Well, in that division, anybody's a contender,
exactly.
really.
That's what I'm saying. So this is an upgrade, as crazy as it sounds, from what they had.
I suppose.
So,
like Heineke wasn't that bad. I mean, I don't think it was all Heineke's fault, to be honest with you.
No,
I think the team is just inept. I mean, look, they should have been better defensively than what they played. So it seemed like every week it was like, why did you lose this? Like, it's like they always made mistakes, whether it was personnel mistakes or coaching mistakes. There was always a mistake to be made, and that's why Washington failed miserably, because they couldn't handle the teams they were supposed to.
Yeah, and I think, again, having Chase Young back, Defensive Rookie of the Year, a year ago, what the difference that'll make. But let me ask you this question. Is this Carson Wentz's last chance?
Probably not.
Which is a thing to think about.
And it's only because there are, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the league that are starting that probably shouldn't be starting. So when you have those teams that are going to struggle this year, he's going to get another chance next year.
And you think about where he came from, Frank Reich, who was his quarterback's coach in Philadelphia when he had his most success. You thought this was going to be a perfect fit. A lot of questions on his work ethic and his commitment.
Yeah.
And to me, no matter what team you go to, you can't change.
He might have a heart problem, is what he might have.
Yeah. So if that's the case, look, it don't matter. He may get bounced around. I don't think he'll start in the NFL again if that story comes out again that he had the same work ethic.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, how many times do you get the chance? You only get as many chances as there are positions available.
Yeah.
It's quite simple.
Let's talk about one more quarterback before we move on, and that would be Aaron Rodgers, who has decided to stay with the Green Bay Packers. Still hasn't signed
So I was right.
Although he still hasn't signed the contract.
He's signing the contract.
Well, so supposedly he's going to be the highest paid player in NFL history.
Yeah.
A lot of questions on what they're going to be able to do. They franchise tag Devontae Adams, so obviously to keep his number one target, they're going to definitely try to do that. what are they going to be able to have around him is the key. There's been no quarterback in the modern era that's won being the highest paid player on the team of Super Bowls. And we can talk about just Aaron Rodgers in general with his Super Bowl record. He's been to one. He's won one.
Yeah. But so did Drew Bledsoe.
He didn't win it.
He got to win.
Yes, you could say
gotta
that.
win.
Yes, because that's
Tom.
If you look up Carson Wentz's statistics, he has a Super Bowl championship, even though he was on IR and didn't even make the trip.
Right, he still has one.
So you could say that, but to me, I think this was a bad move by Rodgers because he could have went to a team that already had an established foundation with players, because they're not going to be able to keep these players.
He's got an established foundation. They were like the 10th best defensive team. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. It's his fault.
Top 2 defensive guys are going to be gone.
Doesn't matter. You have the team, and this is Aaron Rodgers being selfish. To be honest with you,
he's a choke artist.
Yeah, look, make no mistakes about it. This is part of what made Tom Brady so great is, hey, I'm going to take less because I know I'm the greatest of all time and I can be the highest paid quarterback if I really want to. I'm going to take less so that way we can spend some money elsewhere and, have a Super Bowl type team, and I think that's ultimately what made him go somewhere else is because he took less and they still didn't pay out.
Yeah.
So that got him a little frustrated.
Kenny, thanks for joining. He thinks he should have left Green Bay. I agree.
I don't.
NFC Central, South. What are they? South, North. He's the North. NFC North. It's an easy division. I mean, the only top quality quarterback that they have is Jared Goff in Detroit, who's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, no.
Another shot at Kenny. That will never go away.
Oh,
next,
Lord.
Hey,
that division absolutely stinks.
The next NFL preview show, Kenny, if you call Jared Goff a better quarterback than the top 20, we're literally muting you. Wow. He said, wow. Hey, one more quick story because we got to move on. But Calvin Ridley suspended for a year. Do you agree with that move by the NFL? Bet on his own team's game. Obviously, wasn't participating.
I don't agree with that decision. I think he should have been booted completely.
You're insane.
He bet on his own team.
Okay, he wasn't playing in the game.
I don't care. It's your own team.
And we've also had several players that have assaulted women that get 6 games.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about that.
Ray Rice, before the video came out, Ray Rice got 2 games.
Yes, I know.
You're going to give this kid 17 games for that? On a game that he wasn't playing in?
Look, he should be kicked out, period. You're out.
You're insane.
He gambled on his own game. His own game.
On his own team.
There's no excuse.
On his team, he wasn't in.
I don't care. I don't care.
Play.
I don't care. You can't. That's no.
Listen,
no.
We all make mistakes. That's not a 17.
That's not a mistake. That's somebody trying to take advantage.
It was like a trifecta or whatever. He was trying to get there. Atlanta was part of the 3 teams.
I don't care.
It's ridiculous.
If it's on your own team, no, you're out. Out.
Ridiculous.
Completely.
Ridiculous. You're nuts. You're crazy.
No, I'm not crazy.
The guy that bashes his girlfriend's or wife's face in.
And they deserve to be kicked out too.
6 games.
No, that's not me making that decision. That's for
exactly.
sure.
So the NFL, booted. How do you justify the NFL giving this kid 17?
You asked me what I thought about it.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Triple play time, my friend. And we're going with some NHL and the top goaltenders in the NHL currently. Who would you start, bench, and cut? And the players are Igor Shesterkin. Did I say it?
No. Shesterkin.
Okay. Shesterkin. Jeremy Swayman and Frederick Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Am I first this week or you first?
You're first.
I am first this week?
Yeah. What's the matter?
You know I hate hockey. I don't hate hockey. I don't hate hockey.
Oh,
I hate talk. I can't pronounce the name.
I'm going. Bye.
Yeah, you're done. So I am starting Igor Shesterkin. I'm going to say it that way. 28, 7-3, 3 shutouts, 2.02 goals against, a 93, almost 94% save percentage. You're not getting anything by this kid.
Well, he's given up goals.
Only 2.02.
Yeah.
I'm benching Frederick Anderson.
Oh my God.
29, 8-2, 3 shutouts, 2.08 goals against, a 92.8 save percentage, which means I'm cutting Jeremy Swayman, the Swayman. And the only reason why I would say out of the experience of the other two this season, 16, 7-3, he's got 3 shutouts, 2.06 goals against, a 92.5 save percentage, a little less than the other two, but he also hasn't been in as many games or faced as many teams. The 3 shutouts pretty impressive because they all have 3 shutouts. So his 3 shutouts obviously are pretty good, but I would still go with the other 2 just on the experience that they've been on the ice more.
Okay, and I'm going to use that experience against you. So first of all, I would also start Shesterkin. I mean, he's playing great. Look, he's a great goaltender. He's going to be one of the best for years to come. But where we differ, I would definitely have Jeremy Swayman on my bench, and I will tell you why. First of all, almost all the games that he has played in were against quality teams. So Omark would play all the bottom of the barrel scrapings, and Swayman would have to carry, the Bruins with all the good teams. And so that alone makes his record impressive. The second part is Anderson. I don't want any part of Anderson on my team when it comes to playoff time, because Toronto fans will tell you they all breathed a sigh of relief when he was gone.
Okay, I got to ask you a question. How many playoff wins does Swayman have?
None.
Exactly. So that
and I'll take that over the
At
bad
least
losses.
Anderson's been in the playoffs.
Yeah, but the bad losses, the bad mojo that he brings, I don't wish that on any team, to be honest with you. And I feel bad for Carolina.
Both of these guys almost 13 more games than him.
That doesn't matter.
I would like to see what his record
over him.
But as usual, I won the triple.
No, you did not win anything. You did not win anything.
I love the passion. And
you know who you remind me of?
Who do I remind you?
Stephen A.
Whoa!
You remind me of him because he's
Blasphemy.
Blowhard on his show,
Blasphemy.
and he has no clue.
You are insane. You are insane.
All of that yapping.
Guys that haven't played in the playoffs.
All of that yapping with all these fancy numbers that he likes backing up his stuff. And you know what? It isn't. Any of it is true. It is all smoke and mirrors.
Says all the guys on the other side of Stephen A. that are losing. Good call. So let's move on to some NBA. Let's bring up this picture of these two gentlemen. They battled last night in a game that honestly wasn't what we expected, with the Brooklyn Nets defeating the Philadelphia 76ers 129-100. A lot of animosity between these two teams. Finally got a solid rival in the NBA again. They don't like each other. A lot of bad blood. What do you take from this game overall that maybe NBA fans should be looking forward to come playoff time?
When it comes down to it, KD can turn the light switch on.
KD looks very good.
That's Kyrie, what I get out of it.
When he's able to play, has looked like Kyrie. Seth Curry, it was more of a revenge game for him. He scored over 20 points, had a great shooting night. I would be more worried or concerned if I'm Philadelphia, who we basically thought, look, they're on the path now to a championship. I will admit I thought that. James Harden.
I'm glad you did. I didn't.
James Harden still proving that in big games. Look, 11 points, 3 for 17. Oh, Kenny agrees with you.
Yeah, no, I don't think Philadelphia is the team. I still think Brooklyn, Milwaukee are the two teams. I think those are the two teams.
No.
And because of the bench. Look, the bench is just so good for these teams.
I'm going Boston. I'm telling you right now. And we're going to
Boston's got a good bench.
Boston's got a phenomenal shot to win the East.
Yeah, they do. I see it.
And I was
You know,
fair in Philly, and I'm not as afraid of Philly anymore.
yeah.
I
And
think
you know,
that's what this game did for me.
I don't think Chicago and Miami can do
No.
it because the bench isn't as good. And they're going to be in the same predicament as Philadelphia. They just don't have that depth on the bench because that is what wins championships.
And I think if Ben Simmons can come back and contribute, you have to worry about Brooklyn.
Oh, God,
You
yes.
have to. But to me, they're putting themselves in that play-in game, and one game, you never know what happens in one
Right.
game.
Right.
You don't want to be in that situation. So
But
they
I'll
need
tell
to
you,
hope.
if it comes down to one game, I'm going with KD.
Yeah.
That's,
The kicker in all of this is Kyrie, 4 games. That's all he can play left in the
I
regular.
know.
Isn't that insane?
And
And if
that's,
the game
and that's
currently
bad.
and the game currently would be in Toronto, that play-in, he
Yep.
can't play.
Right.
So they need to change that seating a little bit for themselves because otherwise they're definitely not going to have Kyrie for it.
Absolutely.
Unless things change by then. But
I don't think it's going to change by then. You know,
Yeah.
I don't see that happening because there's only what 10 games left.
no, about 15 or so.
I thought there was 10, but
No, playoffs don't start till April, middle of April. I think there's like 15 games left.
okay. So you know, I mean, it's still, you know, that's a lot of ground you have to manage to catch up. And we talked about this,
Yeah.
you know, last week when I said there was 20 games. Yeah, so that makes sense. So there is 15. So, you know, with that fewer games, if you're down by say 3 or 4 games, that means instead of you winning, you know, 8 of them, you now have to win 12 of them.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. 12 out of 15 down the stretch again with the schedule that they have.
So let's talk
That's
about
tough.
another team, the Boston Celtics, who are our local team that we kind of follow and cover more than any other team. They are remaining hot currently. Are they legitimate title contenders?
Yes. Yes. I've seen the light. Look, you know, I paid a lot of attention to how they've played since the trade deadline, and getting White was absolutely incredible for this team. I think it lit a fire under them,
Yeah.
and it got real. And that's why I like the way the dynamic of the team is, because not only can they just shut teams down, and any team, they can shut anyone down because they're that good defensively. To me, they are the best defensive team in the league.
So,
you know,
Ime Aduka, who we kind of criticized early on.
Yeah.
I started to, and I know Kenny's not a big fan, but I looked at it this way. He's from the Popovich, and learning from that generation of coaching. His philosophies, if you start to look at what the Celtics are doing, it's a lot about the defense. Look, they're 3rd overall in opponents scoring. So
Yeah.
they're holding opponents. Realize they're 2nd in blocks in the league.
That is understandable when you look
Right.
at Robert Williams every day.
4th in rebounds, 2nd in free throws.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum currently is 8th in scoring in the league, and he's only 3 points behind Embiid. He's averaging 26.8. So if Jason Tatum continues on the scoring stretch that he's going on, he's going to be a top 5 scorer in the NBA. They have all the pieces now to win now, which I didn't think. And we criticized Brad Stevens as well in some of his moves. And if you start to look at what he did, in your point, Ron, right? Picking up White has seemed to solidify this team even more.
And what's his face there? Oh my God, I can't think of his name. Center.
Oh, Tice.
Tice. Yeah, thank you, Daniel Tice. I think that was a big pickup. I still don't like what they gave up for him.
Yeah,
but you could understand it trying to move contracts, and I get it.
By moving contract, but listen. It put a spark to like you said, It put a spark in this team. We always knew Tice when he was here as just an aggressive guy who would go after rebounds, who would play the bigger men, even though he was a smaller, because that's his mentality. That's what he brought in.
He plays against all the bigs, and I'll tell
Yeah,
you, I like his game. I
yeah,
like his game. I mean, he contributes. You don't see a lot of it on the score sheet, but it's those little intangibles like just the hustle and getting back on defense. And the spark that he gives the
yeah,
team when he's in there. It's all subtle little things, but those things are important on a team as well, especially in the game of basketball, because you never know when you need that little spark, to pick up, say, your star,
yeah.
Jason Tatum.
And we always talk about hustle plays in basketball. So
Yeah,
crucial. He's a
because I'll
hustle
tell you,
guy.
since Tice and White, you know, he's been a different player. He's been out of this world. And Tatum has been, you know,
On
doing
a score.
so well. Like
I mean,
he's
and
everywhere.
I talked to Kenny on the NBA ranking show that we did earlier in the week, and you realize he's tied with Larry Bird now for the most 50-point games
Right,
in Celtic history. And you
right.
think about what Larry Bird meant to the organization.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum has finally integrated himself as one of the greats in Boston Celtics
And
history.
and this is how he's been playing the last month or so is exactly what the Celtics expect from him.
Yeah,
And if he doesn't bring this, then you can see why the team plays 500 ball. But when he elevates himself and he hustles and he does all the things needed, then that makes this team viable, and it picks up the rest of the players. So you're getting Tice and White that picked up Jason Tatum's game,
yeah,
and now he's picking up the rest of the team because
yeah,
look how Smart is playing.
yeah,
Like he's
yeah.
been great.
Less threes, more consistent with his shots.
Yeah,
Paul Pierce, like as Kenny said, you're starting to see that Paul
yeah.
Pierce comparison. And honestly, I think he's a better scorer than Paul Pierce was. So we could be seeing the next great Boston Celtic
Yeah.
again. Can he win a title? I'm more excited this year than I have been in many years before.
They
Yes,
got
they've
a
been
they got
cute
a shot. They got a
and they've
shot.
gotten there, but you never felt as good as you do now. So let's talk some baseball. Do you believe we're going to talk some baseball?
What?
What is
Wait,
that
what?
about? Baseball.
What
So
is this
guess what?
baseball?
Guess what's back? And I'm not going to say shady. I don't need you to slim shady me here. Major League Baseball has ended their lockout. The season will open on April 7th, and there will be a 162 game season. How do you feel about baseball being back? Do you want to be excited? I kind of want to be.
I want to be excited. I
Well,
want to be.
and it's a weird feeling because I feel like there's so many good teams, good players, so much to look for. But now I feel like it's going to be rushed as well. Bad signings because free agency
Well,
opens
I
tonight.
don't
You
like.
said right today or tomorrow,
I believe it starts at 7 p.m. tonight.
right? So you think about just the vast amount of players that are just going to sign contracts and
See,
teams that are going to waste money.
what I like about baseball, because I'm a numbers guy, I love stats. And when you have stats that go back to before 1900, that's like a stats guy's dream, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we have all these stats and we pay attention to all these stats all year long. And that's what I like about the game. What I don't like about the game is the constant waiting for a batter to get into the box and take the games just take so long. And if you're not watching like Red Sox, Yankees, Giants, Dodgers, rivals like that, it can be very hard to watch at times.
So, a couple of things that have changed. Obviously, the salary increases for the minor leaguers, which I agree with. I think that was something that should have been done. It hadn't been. I think they hadn't had a bump in like 5 years.
Yeah,
Again, you
because
think,
they need to be making 700,000 for a guy that plays four games a year.
well, I'm talking the minor leagues, minor leaguers
Okay.
before they make the pros. They're also going to a 12-team playoff. Top two seeds will have a bye in the first round, and then obviously how that goes. The DH rule, which we will argue about, actually we've already argued about in the past.
Mm.
The DH rule is now officially across the board. So the National League has the DH now.
So with the playoff system now, we're going to be watching baseball in December. Great. Can't wait to that first snow out game in the playoff.
And I don't know how you feel about the logos on the NBA and NHL jerseys. Now baseball will have those as well. So they're going to sell company logos to put on jerseys.
I'm not a fan of that.
So that takes away from when we talk about past in the 1900s and before, you wouldn't see that. Next year, 2023, what they say is most likely going to be added. They're going to have the bigger bases, shift elimination, which we will discuss in our face-off, a pitch clock, 14 seconds with no runners on the base, 19 seconds with runners on the base. So those are some of the changes that you will see in Major League Baseball next year.
Thank God. And I want to see it enforced, because I don't.
You mentioned the batter's box, and there was a rule.
Yeah.
And then eventually the umps just stopped.
Doing it. Yeah.
So I'm excited. I want to see how this free agency plays out. That's my only concern. Are there going to be a lot of bad contracts now? Because teams are basically got about 3 weeks to get a field this team and get them on the field for opening day. You may sign a guy just because you're trying to get ahead of somebody and give them more money than they actually deserve.
Yeah,
but a lot of quality names. Freddie Freeman from the Atlanta Braves, who was the world champions, he's been rumored a few different places, including Boston and New York. Anthony Rizzo for New York or Boston, again, may happen. Carlos Carrera, big rumors for New York on that one, on the Yankees, but so many different players that could be moving that it's going to be really interesting to see where this all turns out.
So, in essence, if it's like a feeding frenzy this weekend, we could have two specials this week: one for baseball, one for NFL.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to have before opening day. We'll have our Major League Baseball preview show. So we'll see. Maybe we could get Kenny on there, and our first ever
Bartolo Colon MVP.
He's calling it now, and our first ever Major League Baseball rankings. So we will have Major League Baseball rankings as well. So I'm excited about that. If you enjoy what you're watching, check us out every Friday night at 6 p.m. We are live. We are fan interactive. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, all live. Follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. Don't have time to watch? Listen to us on Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify, and TuneIn. Follow us on Discord. As you see the links up there, join us on Discord. We have a Sports Unfolded Discord and a Rhode Island Broadcasting Discord, which has all the shows. Or if you just love Sports Unfolded, just follow Sports Unfolded. We post every day a lot of what we've done, our shows, and also our rankings. And if you're in Southeast Connecticut, SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12, you can watch us at 10 p.m. on Tuesdays, which is a rebroadcast of this show on Friday. And if you enjoy it and you're watching it now, check us out on Friday nights at 6 p.m. If you'd like to sponsor the show, email us at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We will give you all the information you need to have thousands of eyes on your business and continue to help us grow as well. So if you'd like to be a sponsor, email us, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com, and we can get you all that information.
So what we do is you will send us details on a still photo, like a still photo ad. And what we do is we read it off as is. So not only will people be able to see it, they will be able to hear it. So the podcast will also be on it. Those ads will also be put on our social media and website.
Yes.
So
again,
and considering we have over 12,000 people on all of our social media, a lot of people are going to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to do some NHL, and I'm going to try to do this as best as possible, and hopefully this works. This is something new for Sports Unfolded, but let's hear from one Jack Eichel, who actually returned to Buffalo last night, and then I want to get some of your opinions on what he said, Moran.
The loudest I've heard this place ever. Really, after it only took 7 years of me leaving for them to get into the game. But
So, shot at the Buffalo fans. He was there for 7 years. Do you feel he was right in the way he handled the situation?
Look, I think he is a buffoon. He's first of all, whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter because personally, I think it's true. And the Buffalo does not have good fans there because they're fair
They're a
weather
football town.
fans.
Yeah, they're a football town.
Yeah, they're fair weather fans. And look, but when you put the product out that they put out year after year after year, do you think the fans want to be there?
No, and I would
No,
say this as the number one pick, right? He was the number one pick of the organization. It was really his responsibility to kind of change that
to
whole,
change that.
and he didn't. They
No,
were no better with him, and he can't be upset about that because again, yes, maybe again, your point,
look,
they have bad management, bad players.
Eric, at no time should you blame the fan because the product is bad.
Yeah.
That's asinine. Okay, those fans are paying your salary in a way, okay? Because they're buying tickets. Wherever you go, fans are buying tickets. Oh, Eichel's coming to town. Let's buy tickets to go see the game, right? That's what you're getting paid
Yeah.
for. So coming out and blasting and criticizing fans is not the way to do it.
And I think he took it as a personal attack,
Yeah.
which I think he deserved because honestly, to your point, they weren't very good in Buffalo when he was there.
No.
How do you want them to react to you? Cheer you? I mean, they did give him a a video tribute and did some things for him as well because they did appreciate his time there. But again, you weren't a winner, so it
Absolutely.
wasn't like you brought them a
No.
championship and you expect them to.
They didn't bring him anything. I don't even think they had a winning season.
Yeah, so I was just surprised. You don't, again, to your point, don't attack the fans. They're the ones that put the money in your pocket.
Right. And,
at the
you
end of
know,
the day.
look, if you want to criticize somebody, criticize the Buffalo organization
Yeah.
because they've never gotten their act together. And I made a comment during the hockey show about it. You know, look, I don't care. Hey, I'm going to speak my mind. You know, if I think the Buffalo organization is poorly run, it's poorly run. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't put all these players together at all. They went out and signed a bunch of players, you know, thought that was going to bring them riches. And no, that's not how you put together a team. You don't just pay out the contract. You got to get the player that fits what you're trying to do.
Absolutely. So Jack Eichel to Ron Buffoon. That's what you call him.
Buffoon.
So let's do our face off, and we are going to discuss the Major League Baseball getting rid of the shift rule. One of us has to be for it. One of us has to be against it. And since I'm in first this week, I get to pick. And I am for them getting rid of the shift rule.
Damn.
So whenever you're ready, you let me know and I can begin.
Go ahead.
So one of the best things we do is our pick and roll segment. And you're going to go, what are we talking about? But every time we look at some numbers, we talk about batting average and hits. And what the shift has done to Major League Baseball is changed that number drastically because all players want to do now is hit home runs, which is increased strikeouts, which lowers batting averages, which decreases hits. You get rid of the shift, it allows some of these players to actually start to try to put the ball in play versus trying to hit it out of the yard, which I think will improve the game and ultimately raise all these numbers back to where they should be respectable. 250 is not a solid batting average. You're in the 290s to 300s. You're a great hitter. If you're striking out more than you're actually getting hits, there's something wrong with that stat. And it needs a change. And to me, by doing this, it will change that stat.
Are you done?
I am done.
Okay. So
well thought out argument.
So look, you know, you can ban things. You know, there'll always be something else that comes around the corner. You know, there'll be a new way of doing things. You know, whether they put all the outfielders all on one side, whatever it is, you know, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. My thought is you shouldn't have to ban, you know, a way of playing defense. First of all, it becomes, you know, the hitter's responsibility to get better. You want to be a good player, get better. You want to be able to beat the shift, hit it the other way. It's that simple. You know, why
Ted,
not? Hey, hit it the other way. Just hit it
Ted,
the other way.
okay. Ted Williams, we consider one of the best hitters of all time.
Correct.
Did he have the shift back when he played?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have
That's my
made him a less of a hitter.
Of course it would have, because if he always hit
No, it wouldn't.
right or left, it definitely would have.
Ted Williams could hit it anywhere.
He
could
could
hit it
but I'm
anywhere.
sure he had a preference. Or
But-
again,
It is also, it's not even the hitter's point of view. You know, if you're a pitcher, you can pitch so that way they hit it to a certain place. You know, that's what good pitchers do. You know, you can pinpoint something, throw it on the inside of the plate.
so hard.
They're gonna hit it a certain
You're
way.
trying so hard, and you
No,
know you lost
I'm
this.
serious.
You lost
Like,
this argument.
look, a sinker ball pitcher gets what? They get a
Max-
lot of ground balls, correct?
Max Kellerman, you're done.
No. A sinker ball pitcher throws it down
Yeah,
so it
to get
gets
more-
ground
yeah,
balls
yeah.
to get double plays.
Yeah.
That is part of a certain type of
Okay.
pitcher. And if you put it certain places, it makes it tougher to pull the ball or it makes it tougher to hit it the other way. So that's what you got to do. Your pitcher and your catcher can dictate all those things, but you got to have somebody that's good enough to do it.
If I'm a predominantly a guy that hits to the left side of the field, let's just
Yeah.
say I predominantly hit to the left side of the field, and you shift all your players to the left side of the field. What am I ultimately trying to do at that point? I know I'm either going to try to crank it out because that's
Yeah.
my only shot, or I'm going to strike out. And
No.
that's what's happened in the game.
You hit it to the other side of the field.
But that may not be my comfortable swing. Unfortunately, I can't say I'm going to be able to do that
And again, I say
consistently.
get better.
You're right. You're
The-
right.
these
I clearly
coaches
won
that
one.
these coaches that are teaching these players to lift the ball are bad coaches. Okay,
I
because
won.
that's not how you're going to win games.
I
And the
won.
Braves proved that.
I won this one.
The Braves proved it.
Okay. I won this one.
You did not win.
Pick and roll time. Best segment of the show.
Stephen
Oh.
A. over here.
Always one of our favorites. Got a theme going lately, and it's the best of the numbers. So we are in the 10th episode. So the best number 10s of all time. And we are going to rank these athletes
Ken Hodge Jr.
from 6 to 10. And these athletes would be Pele, Walt Frazier. Is it Guy Lafleur?
Guy Lafleur.
See? Chipper Jones, Eli Manning, and Sue Bird.
So I take it you don't have the hockey guy as number one.
I don't know. Let me read my list. I am first this week, so I will go first and give you the correct list, and then Ron will give you what he believes the list should have been, but I'm giving you the correct list.
No, you're
So at number 6, Eli Manning.
okay. At least you got that right.
117, 117.
He's terrible.
60.3% completion percentage, 57,000 yards, 366 touchdowns, 244 interceptions.
Wait, isn't there another number 10 in the NFL that's better?
Believe it, there wasn't. 4,
Mac
time
Jones?
Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champ, and 2-time Super Bowl MVP. He is an average quarterback at best.
That got lucky 2 years.
He got yes.
The sad part is he has the same amount as his brother.
Yes. Who's a much better
How does
player.
that feel, Peyton?
Insane. At number 5, and I did this based off of the championships, Chipper Jones, 303 batting average, 2,726 hits, 468 home runs, 1,623 RBIs, 8-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger. He won a batting title. He was MVP, only one championship. Couldn't put him ahead of these other guys and gals. At number 4, Walt Frazier. 18.9 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game, 6.1 assists, 7-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 7-time All-Defensive. That was pretty impressive. 2-time NBA champ. I thought the fact that he was a point guard and he averaged, almost 6 rebounds, that was pretty impressive. Kind of helped move him up the list a little bit. So the top 3. This is where it got very difficult.
Yes, it did.
Extremely difficult because all these players have won multiple championships.
Lots.
But I went Guy Lafleur at number 3. 560 goals, 793 assists, so 1,353 points. Ron, a plus 446. That is insane.
That is insane. And don't forget, he only had 1,100 games played.
That's
so
insane.
More than a point a game.
Yes. 6 All-Stars, 3-time Ross, 3-time Pearson, 2-time Hart, 5-time Cup winner. So you're saying who could be better than that? Right? That's pretty impressive.
You got one of them right.
At number 2, Sue Bird. 12 points a game, 2.6 rebounds, 5.6 assists. 12-time All-Star, 4-time WNBA champ, 2-time NCAA champ, 9 gold medals between the Olympics and the World Championships, 12-time champion in Russia, Euro League, and the Euro Super League, I believe it was called. So you talk about the amount of titles that Sue Bird has won in her career. Phenomenal. Her numbers, not as impressive. But the championships, I don't think we've talked about anybody who's won more championships. That's pretty impressive. Which means number 1, Pele. And the reason why Pele is number 1, 1,279 goals in 1,363 games. It's the Guinness Book of World Records. He is the highest scoring goals in the history of the sport, Pele, and he's a 3-time FIFA World Cup champion. You got to go with the guy that's in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the top goal scorer of all time. He has to be number 1.
Okay. Yes.
Go. Yeah, I'm done.
You got it right.
I did. See? I told you.
You got it right. So, number 6, Eli Manning. To me, he shouldn't even be on this list.
We put a football guy in.
Yeah, I know. We should not have.
The next one was Tyreek Hill, and just not enough.
Chipper Jones. I had the same issue with Chipper Jones and Walt Frazier.
Great player.
I gave Walt Frazier the advantage because of that all defensive team and that one more championship.
Yeah.
And you hit it right on the head with while being a point guard, he still had those rebounds.
Yeah.
So, and to me, it did come down to the final 3.
Yeah.
And as if any Bruin fan would ever put Guy Lafleur at number 1. He was number 3 for me as well.
Yeah.
And again, you would say, wow, all those championships, right? Yeah, but when the other 2, the 2, you can't deny them. Like Lafleur's numbers were great.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a Montreal Canadian that I respect that's not a goaltender, it would be Guy Lafleur.
Yeah.
I've seen so many games of him playing. He is so fluid. What pure talent. You know, when you lead when you lead the league in scoring 3 times, you know, that's saying something. Crosby never did that, by the way.
No, you
just
Crosby
throwing that in there.
LeBron James. You just
throwing it in there.
Okay.
So number 2, I also had Sue Bird because the championships. I don't even care what the numbers are.
Unreal.
The championships. She's won everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere she goes, she wins. And you know when she should be a coach because you sign her on to be a coach, you're going to win championships because that's all she does is win. She wins. And if I'm starting a team in anything, she's going to be involved because she wins. So number 1, of course, is Pele. I actually, when I was younger, I got to watch a lot of replays of those old soccer games. And I'll tell you, he was amazing. Amazing. And I know you threw out a whole bunch of stats, but there is one stat that I found that was incredible. Do you know in all the leagues that he's played in, he was the top scorer 18 times.
Wow.
And that does not count like World Cups.
Yeah.
Does not count that.
Right? Insane.
18 times. Most athletes don't even have an 18-year career.
Yeah. icon. He's an icon. He's a football
Yeah.
icon.
But when it's all said and done, he's been in like, I don't know, 15 movies.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't realize everything else he did afterwards.
So he's done literally everything. He is one of the greatest athletes ever to play anything. Anything.
No, great points, great list. I knew I hit it on the head that time. So
Yeah, it's like that's like our fourth time.
Fourth
We've
time
got
now.
it 2 times in a row. I think we
Yeah.
had the same list
Yeah,
last week.
we're gonna have to mix something up. Number 11's we're not doing Drew Bledsoe. So if you enjoy
I
what
felt
you're watching,
so bad for him. I watched that today. I felt so bad.
yes. Watch us live every Friday night at 6 p.m. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We are live, fan interactive. So please jump in, join in, and we will definitely chime in with you. Follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. Podcasts, if you don't have time to watch, Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify, and now TuneIn. Southeast Connecticut, SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12, Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. We are a rebroadcast of this show. And if you enjoy what you're watching us now, check us out on Friday nights at 6 p.m. If you'd like to sponsor the show, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Hit us up. We will definitely give you all the information on what you need to do, what we can do to advertise for your business, and what you can do to help us grow our product as well. But really inexpensive way to get thousands of eyes on your business weekly, actually daily, because we're basically posting these things every day. So much going on with Sports Unfolded. Ron, it is that time where we are going to decide at some point who's going to be wearing his jersey. And I don't think either one of us want to be wearing a jersey.
No.
So hence why we're tied again. After we took a 2-game win.
I'm not liking this because it has all the evidence of at the end of the year that we
have a
are
tie.
tied,
We both wear it.
and then we both have to wear it, and
no
I
winner.
don't want that.
See, this is why hockey got to get rid of ties. But
They don't have ties in hockey.
Not anymore, but back in the day. Soccer too, right? 36 and
soccer
20,
does, yeah.
36 and 28. Both at 56% right now.
Yeah, I don't like that number either.
To your point, we have been picking the most difficult games of the week. So sometimes any given day, any given team can win. So we are follow that on Sports Unfolded. It's on our page. It's on our Twitter.
And chime in with your predictions. Get on this list
so we can actually get you on this list. So let's start off with some NBA action. 3/12. So tomorrow night, Milwaukee Bucks at the Golden State Warriors.
Golden State has been floundering.
Yes, they did win. No, they beat Denver.
Yeah,
last night.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Milwaukee.
I am as well. I just don't trust the consistency of the Golden State Warriors currently. All right, I'm up here. 3-13. The Dallas Mavericks at the Boston Celtics. I do this to myself every time. I don't believe in them. I'm like, I'm going Boston. I feel like they're gunning for people. They're trying to prove that they're legit, and I'm going Boston at home.
I am also going Boston.
3-14, my friend. Denver Nuggets at Philadelphia 76ers.
I'm going to go Philadelphia. I think they're a little sore from that butt whooping, and they're going to take it out on somebody else.
Agreed. I think they're going to hear all the negative publicity, and I think they're going to tear it up. And it's not as big a game, so James Harden will perform. 3-13. You got the Calgary Flames at the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado lost a tough one the other night. Calgary, though, has not been able to get over the hurdle and take over the West. I'm going Colorado at home.
Yeah, I'm also going to go Colorado because I believe Calgary did win that last one.
Yes.
At Colorado.
So something.
So there's no way Colorado is letting them come in and do it twice because that is just going to give them too much hope for the playoffs. So Colorado.
This
is looking like we're going to pick
Yeah, the same team. We'll have a tie again. 3-13, Carolina at Pittsburgh.
This is a tough one. But I'm going to go Carolina. They're going to go into Pittsburgh, and they are taking it.
I am as well going Carolina.
Oh,
I
come
just think they're the better
on.
team. Pittsburgh has not been consistent enough this season. Even when we thought they were finally getting over the hump, they fell back down to earth.
Yeah.
Which leaves one game. If we pick the same, then we're going to be the same next week. 3-16, Boston at Minnesota Wild.
Look, Boston is playing incredible on the road. They're going to go in there, and they're going to take this one. Boston.
All right. I'm going to Wild at home.
I knew you were going to do that. So it all rests on the Bruins.
The Bruins.
So, sorry, Minnesota fans out there. But Boston is going to put me in the lead once again in our predictions. So come on out there. You gotta put your predictions in there. So I want to hear from Boston fans and Minnesota fans. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from Celtic fans and Dallas fans. I want to hear from you.
Yeah, definitely. So as we normally end our show, Ron, we do our final thoughts. And our final thoughts doesn't necessarily have to be about anything that's going on in sports. It could be about anything going on in the world today. So my final thought, actually, since I am first this week, first I wanted to talk about the Brittany Griner situation. Her being arrested in Russia, could face up to 10 years in prison based on their laws. But I do feel like this is more of a political ploy on Russia's part to try to force the United States to lift some of the sanctions. It's a shame that you would use a human in this fashion to try to get a point across. Hopefully for her safety, she's allowed to come back home. I know there are several people fighting for that to happen. Unfortunate situation. Yes, she put herself in it, and we can argue if it was right or wrong. But at the end of the day, 10 years, I think it's more about a political play of them trying to force us to have to do something on that part of it. And I did want to also on 3/16 is also a special day for me, as my daughter Jasmine, it's her birthday. So I just wanted to wish her a happy birthday. She's been a big supporter of the show, sharing it and watching it. So we appreciate that. Jasmine, have a happy birthday. And we will see each other next weekend. So I'm looking forward
post your
to it.
predictions, Jasmine.
Post
your predictions.
Ron, you're up. Final thoughts, my friend.
Okay. I actually lost my train of thought because of the birthday.
Sorry.
Okay. So my final thought goes to the situation with Deshaun Watson. Okay, so whether he did anything wrong or not does not matter. You know, look, it's done, over with. He's not going to face any charges. Fine, so be it. Let's get back to football. But I hope he learns something from this. And we keep talking about these kind of situations over and over and over. Look, don't put yourself into situations that somebody's going to try to take advantage of it, whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
You don't put yourself in these situations. And all of these people that go out partying after football games and are out in 3 a.m. and stuff like that, there's no reason you should be out at 3 a.m. as an NFL football player, because only bad things can happen. And I've said this many times about Rob Gronkowski. The guy has as much fun as anyone, but he doesn't put himself in position to be talked about in the news.
Exactly.
And I got to give him credit for that, because he's like Mr. Party, like who doesn't want to go party with Gronk? He has all kinds of fun, but he doesn't put himself in those positions. If there's anything you can learn from Deshaun Watson's situation, is don't do it to yourself. Just go out, play some football. When you have downtime, keep it tame enough that you are always in control.
Great point. Ron, as always, great show. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Listen, Monday night, we will be advertising. We are going to do an NFL show with everything that's been going on in the NFL. There's so much to cover. Just couldn't get to it all tonight. Also going to have our baseball preview show first week of April, right before the season starts. So check out that. Follow the website to get that information as well. And then don't forget our ranking shows next week, NHL and NBA rankings. Should be some changes. A lot of movement again, NBA wise and NHL. Top teams have lost now, so there's going to be some movement there, I feel, as well. And then
Expect it this weekend.
And then obviously the first week of April, first Major League Baseball rankings will be out as well. So Ron, always appreciate the time. Fans out there that have watched live, we appreciate you so much. Those that are going to watch afterwards, continue to follow and check us out. We appreciate the time, and let's have some peace in the world. Peace.
Take care, everybody.